Welcome back to Third Phase of the Moon. Blake Cousins here, taking your calls from around the world. It's my pleasure broadcasting from the Big Island of Hawaii, sharing the UFO experience that people are having around the world. They have a platform, and it's called Third Phase of the Moon, the top UFO channel on the planet, and we're opening up the lines today. And if you've got a story you want to share, keep it down to about 5 minutes so we can get to as many callers as possible. We got some new UFO videos that have just come in, so we're going to be going to that, as well as an update right now from the Big Island of Hawaii. Let me just tell you what's going on before we get to the callers. In regards to the Halemaumau crater, it's filling up, guys, and it's filling up rapidly, and it's about to crest the caldera and overflow. In my opinion, this is unprecedented. This is the update, the videos, the aerial shot that just was captured by the USGS just moments ago. And as you can see, the caldera is rising rapidly. What's going to happen once it peaks over the crest of the caldera? Well, that's the big question. Everybody wants to find out. And in my opinion, it's not going to take too much longer to find out. Give it about 2 weeks, and we're going to see if this thing crests the caldera itself, or is it going to implode? Is it going to flush out and cause what happened over there in Leilani Estates just 2 years ago? This footage that we're looking at, you can see that the vent is still active and it is filling it up. It's almost like a bathtub where somebody forgot to turn off the water and it's about to overflow. We're going to be standing by right here on the Big Island of Hawaii. And if it gets a little bit more crazy, you're going to see my brother and I on location reporting from the volcano, giving you the best footage from the Big Island of Hawaii when it comes down to that. So that's the update right here from the Big Island of Hawaii. But I know people are building up because they want to share their UFO experience to the world. I'm going to be showing you a video right now before we get to that of what I believe is probably the best UFO sighting of 2020. And it was captured aboard a commercial airliner on his way to Tijuana. And we're looking at something that can't be explained, a white anomaly. What the heck is this? What is it doing there? Definitely, in my opinion, this is otherworldly. It's not of this earth, and I still can't tell you to this day what it is, and that's what's amazing. We also have my brother Brent with us, and he's going to be sketching the material as the eyewitness states their testimony. So it's kind of like a courtroom. Brent's going to be drawing as the eyewitness calls into the show and explains their sighting. So we're doing it in real time. Brent has his sketch. It's open. It's not been touched yet, but we're going to do it right now. We're taking the calls. So let's just open up the lines and get to area code. We'll break it up with 504. 504, you made it to Third Phase of the Moon. How you doing today?
Oh, doing pretty good, man. Yourself?
Doing good. Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from New Orleans, Louisiana.
All right, man. What's on your mind? Did you have an experience? Let's hear it. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. Started, I guess, I was 3 years old. 52 now. We lived right outside of New Orleans in the suburbs, a place called Porters, Louisiana, probably about 10 miles from New Orleans. And my experience started actually with a near-death experience I had at that age, where I was attacked by a neighbor's dog across the street. And I had jumped up on the fence to try to get away from the dog. It jumped up and grabbed me by the shoulder. Next thing you know, I'm looking down at the scene. I see myself in the dog's mouth. It's thrashing me back and forth like a rag doll. My dad and my uncle came over there and got the dog off of me, started bringing me to the hospital. During that time, it was like I shot up into almost like space. And I found myself in this, like, I want to call it like an auditorium setting, but it was clear, and it was like I was standing, like, there was stars all around me. I was kind of out in space. That's what it looked like. And there was all these entities around me, and I could hear them whispering, you know. And it was like, you know, I kind of wasn't supposed to be there. And I'm walking up, and there's 2 prominent ones in front of me, and they're kind of cloaked with hoods kind of on. And they told me, you know, it's not time yet. You need to go back and all this other stuff. So anyway, next thing you know, I'm in the hospital. I was in there a few weeks. Had 200 stitches in my back, shoulder, all like that. Almost died from it. So I'm in the hospital 3 weeks. I get home, and this happened in July of '73. So I get home in August, and almost immediately, I don't know if you remember Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that, you know, the show used to come on every Christmas with the little elves in it, you know, the one that wants to be a dentist. Anyway,
the stop animation, old school.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's Rankin and Bass that made those. Right. So anyway, one morning I wake up and my bed surrounded by those. I mean, they look exactly like the elves from Rudolph, and I could tell, you know, that something was off about them, because that's, I guess, how they kind of presented themselves to me, but I could tell something was different behind that. Something was behind that, you know? And, you know, I remember what they would do is, this is going to sound weird, but they would walk me throughout the hall. We go into my kitchen, and they wouldn't speak with their mouths, but the main one was, it had like a female voice. It was really soothing. It knew my name and everything, you know. But they would actually allow me to get up on my kitchen table. I'd run as fast as I could across the table, and I'd jump as high as I could off of it, and I'd just float down like really slow. I wouldn't fall. I wouldn't get hurt or anything. And they let me do that a bunch of times. And I can remember floating over my aunt and my uncle would sleep over sometimes on the weekend. I can remember looking down at them, you know, and after that, you know, we would go through my back door into the yard, and we're in like a rural area, and I can remember being floated up into a light, and then I don't really remember much about, you know, if I was on a craft or whatever. That part is kind of foggy, but that happened a lot around then. About 9 months later, you know, since I got bit by the dog and everything, we sold the house and moved back to New Orleans, where I was for years. And throughout my life, I guess especially when I was young, my mom would catch me trying to crawl out of my window. I've woken up in the woods. One time I woke up at my neighbor's house across the street on their sofa, and stuff like that. That happened throughout the whole time of my childhood. And I guess the last time it happened was about 7 years ago. And it comes in spurts. It'll happen like for maybe a month or two and then stop. And it might be years before it happened again. But about 7 years ago, I woke up driving down a bridge, and I was like, wait, you know, what's going on? How did I get here? I look over, there's a bag on my seat from like Walgreens drugstore, and it's got like a receipt in it that said 3:45 in the morning. Well, I don't remember even going there or how I, you know, even got to that point, or how I'm coming down a bridge. And that same week, I woke up at one of the 24-hour Walmarts with a basket full of stuff that I had no idea how that stuff got in there. I don't even remember going there. But, yeah, so, this stuff's been happening to me my whole life, and I can't really put my finger on, you know, what the main objective of all this stuff is. It's, you know, I always thought about going under some kind of regression maybe to see if I could figure out, you know, what was going on. But, I mean, the things never did scare me, you know. The voice that they would talk to me, it was very soothing. And like I said, they presented themselves as something, you know, like I said, the elves from Rudolph. It sounds kind of weird, but that's what they tried to look like. But I could tell it wasn't real, you know, especially after the first time. They kept doing it, and I started to see they almost look like, I don't know, I'd say ant people or something. It was kind of like, they kind of reminded me of bugs what I could see of them behind that kind of, I don't know if it was like a hologram or something, but you could tell that, that's not what they really were. It's, I think they were just presenting themselves as that because it was probably non-threatening to a 3-year-old kid. And why me? I have no idea. And
let me ask you, so, you're ending up in locations and you can't explain how you got there, like the Walmart, your friends, your next door neighbors, in the woods, in the forest. Have you ever thought about maybe, I don't know, it's kind of difficult to do it every single day, disciplined. I'm not sure, it sounds like it's kind of random, but are you like sleepwalking? Do you think that it's possible that you could actually, set up a camera or surveillance to see if you're actually sleepwalking or you're actually like, transported somewhere? What's your thoughts? And like, is there any indication that, like, if you're out in the forest, you would think that, like, you would notice yourself, like, where you dressed accordingly, were you in your pajamas?
Oh, I would be in whatever I wore to sleep that night. Now, throughout my parents got, it was kind of concerning to them when I was young. My mom was catching me going out the window, and I don't know where or why I'm doing that. So I went to the doctor a few times for that kind of stuff. And, they could never, prove I was like sleepwalking or something. But my mom would say, it was almost like I was in some kind of trance. And especially when I was, but you know what, they figure that, oh, well, he had a football game today, he must be really tired, and that's why it's happening, or something like that. They would always attribute it to, oh, he was tired, he was worn out, so, that's what the doctor would say, well, maybe it was that the physical exertion can cause that and stuff like that. Really, they probably didn't know what was going on. But, so yeah, I mean, and this is back in the 70s and 80s. So I guess there was really, there wasn't these cameras like we have now. And it hasn't happened in 7 years.
Absolutely. So my brother right now has been drawing kind of your testimony in real time. So I invite you to come take a look at this when this premieres on our YouTube channel, because Brent's rendition that we're looking at right now is of, you as a kid being attacked by a dog. And then next thing you know, this is when the intervention happened. And I hope you enjoyed this, rendition of Brent's kind of, art of representing what happened to you, I think, in 1973. Hey, appreciate you calling in. And I hope this helped you a little bit. And I hope you enjoy this picture that Brent's drawing for you right now.
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate it. I like what y'all doing, man. I haven't got this off my chest in a long time, and it's kind of bringing up a lot of memories, so I really appreciate what y'all do for people.
Hey, thanks for that, and thanks for being our first caller in Third Phase of Moon, and Brent's just about wrapping up the drawing. It's pretty cool, right? That we're able to take the testimony, and Brent's here able to draw it in real time. I don't know. I think this is the first ever. We did this last week, but again, this is, again, don't forget, the first time ever on the history of this planet by mankind that we're actually doing this format, taking the calls and doing real-time drawing of the testimony. It's never happened before. And if you've seen it happen before, let me know if it's in regards to UFOs, taking the calls and drawing it in real time. You're seeing it here for the first time on Third Phase of the Moon. Now, I appreciate that caller. It's a great call. Let's get to another one. Let's bring them in. We got a lot of people calling. Let's get to area code 587. 587, you're on Third Phase of the Moon. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for taking my call.
Oh, absolutely. Where are you calling in from?
I'm actually calling from Canada. I'm phoning from Edmonton, Alberta.
All right, what's going on over there in Alberta?
Okay, I'm going to try and get through this because I listen to your show daily, and I've heard a lot of different callers call in and tell their stories. The similarities are just endless as to what I experienced. But so anyways, I moved here to Edmonton from Vancouver, BC. That's where I'm born and raised. 50 years old. turn 50 years old this year. But anyways, so 2013, I moved to Edmonton. My husband's a trucker, so he's out of town at this point, and it's just me and my little guy. And it's August. Beautiful blue sky, sunny day. Now, just explaining, I know that in the States you guys got a huger population than we do, but nonetheless, there's like 1.5 million here in Edmonton. I live in the city. I live in a house at this point. And anyways, so I'm sitting outside on the stoop of the front door of my house. It's the side of the house. I would be looking at my neighbor's yard. There was no fence between us, but their house is next door. And then, of course, there's a shed in the backyard as well. So anyways, I'm just sitting there on the stoop of my stair. I do not have photos, even though I had my phone in my hand. And I'm partially disabled. I walk with a cane. Okay, so anyways, I'm just sitting there, and I happen to look up. Now, I want to talk about that in a moment, but I happen to look up, and there's a black triangle craft above my head, okay? Like, we're talking, I live in a basement. The people upstairs have 2 stories, so it's a 3-story house. We're talking maybe the tops of the trees are just above the roof, and there's this triangle. It's huge. It's like the size of a flippin' house. But it's black. Black. Like, I'm talking like it absorbed light. Okay? I don't know how else to describe it. It doesn't have a shine. Nothing like that. It's silent. You don't hear anything. It's just absolutely silent. And it's gliding across the air, straight as an arrow. I don't know how to put that, but it's just like straight, and it just glides across the sky. And because I'm disabled, and I'm at this point, my cane is in the house, and I can't really get to it from where I'm at. And I've got my phone in my hand. No, I didn't take a picture and, be the $1 million picture, however you want to. Nonetheless, I get up the stoop of the stair. I'm standing in the doorway, and I'm trying to walk and watch what I'm doing at the same time, and walk underneath it, but not necessarily underneath it, kind of like on the side underneath it. And I could see that it's completely flat. Like, there's no way anybody would be inside it. Like, and then I'm thinking to myself, well, this can't be a drone. Like, it's so damn big and everything. Like, why would they even bother with that when they can see, from a satellite into your house or something? I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. But anyways, it's huge, and I can't figure this out. It's going past the alleyway, over to the other houses across the alleyway, and then it's a main road, like busy road, in front of those houses. How anybody else can't see this, I can't believe it. I can't believe my eyes. It's a beautiful sunny day, blue sky, no clouds. It was a gorgeous day, and yet how could nobody else see this? It's only like 4:30 in the afternoon. And so anyways, I have this experience, okay? I have the experience. I think to myself, okay, well, maybe somebody else saw it on the internet. So I'm on the internet, looking on the internet. Now, like I said, originally I'm from Vancouver, okay? How do you say that? 3 suggestions down, if you will, in the internet on Yahoo as to, how do I put this? I'm looking for UFO blogs in Canada, okay, or something like that, right? So, UFO sightings in Canada where you can report it, whatever. I happen to notice 3 down. What caught my eye was I happened to notice Vancouver, BC, Hastings, and Ferndale. I'm like, what? And somebody is reporting an incident they've had way back when, I don't know, a few years, right where my childhood home is, where I grew up. I couldn't believe what I'm seeing. I'm trying to look for information on a UFO or whatever that I've seen, but instead of finding anything about that, I'm finding out from somebody else that they've had something, and that's where I had my episode of missing time. And it just goes on. It's nuts. And the things that I've experienced are just... Now, the other thing I want to mention about that experience as well, sound. Okay, so there's no sound. Now, my husband, a trucker, yeah, but he's a computer geek. He loves computers and Star Trek and whatever. So anyways, one day he's goofing around with the computer. This is years ago. And I'm like, what is that sound? And he's laughing from the other room because he's goofing around on the computer, and apparently there's sounds at certain pitches that women can only hear. And it's a high-pitched buzz, okay? Made me think of this because when I looked up, there was no sound. There was nothing. The birds weren't chirping anymore. There was nothing that you couldn't hear anything, not even, not anything, not traffic, nothing. There was no sound. It was completely gone. So as far as how close it was, if I was Michael Jordan, I could have jumped and hit the damn thing. That's how close it was. That's my story. So sorry if it's taken a long time, but anyway.
Sure. I was just having this conversation with a friend of ours last night about we talk about what is ours, what is from another world, what is up with this triangular TR3B. In my opinion, it's 100% undeniable that it exists. This triangular-shaped craft is hovering around, visiting people, checking them out, surveillance. I don't know what they're doing. I've seen it with my own eyes. Thousands of people have seen this. And I think in 2021, it's just like this thing's going to fly over the next Super Bowl. It's going to have to come out. Everybody knows that the TR3B exists. What's making it fly is another question. Is this reverse engineered, or have we mastered some kind of propulsion that could make this thing hover in pretty much silence, but we have a little hum, a little static in the air, right? You're saying you could almost feel it. What is this?
Can I just say one more thing?
Okay.
That I think this thing is biological. Okay, so the other thing with it, and this is why I turned. Oh, see, for me, what happened is we were already sky watching 3 days previous to that, and I've always believed in it being a telepathy thing. Okay, that they're out there, and that's the only way you're going to be able to, phone them. Basically, is telepathy, and that night. 3 nights previous, I know you're out there, and I don't know what I said, but I was just saying hello and I'm here, okay? And within that 3 days, that happened. So I've heard people say about this TR3B man-made blah, blah, but where did that come from? Like, where did their man-made come from? Because whatever I've seen man-made, every single time I've seen man-made, it's never been that what I saw. And it's never been, it's always been, there's been a sound, a noise, right, that's been produced by their man-made, but not from this. And so when they say TR3B, I don't know. Because they've been talking about that craft since, what, the 1800s, at least? So how is that possible?
When you bring up the idea of being biological, it's interesting because the black manta ray, I've surfed, we've experienced it. Their wings that the manta ray glides through the water, it almost resembles that black triangular craft. And it's also the manta ray is very stealthy and sleek in design. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a reverse engineering of just biological life here on the planet. The military does it all the time. They look at, certain creatures, and then they kind of reverse engineer it and create their own little, mechanics, aircraft. And I would imagine the black manta ray is one of those, life biological forms that they try to emulate. As it cuts through the water, it could as well cut through the atmosphere. Well, this whole show just flew by like nobody's business. But let me tell you, Brent's on it. Here's his rendition of the caller that just called in, of her experience over there in Canada of the Black Triangle. The people have seen it. It's there. Where and who made it? Where does it go afterwards? Is it interdimensional? What are the capabilities of this thing? Is it one of ours? Is it something biological? These are all major. Great question, by the way, from the caller. I appreciate everybody joining us on this special episode. And let me tell you, there's Brent's artwork. I don't know. What do we do with all this art? It's kind of going into the binder, the folder, the archives. If you guys got any idea what we should do with this art when Brent's finished with it, you guys kind of leave it in the comments below, and maybe we could make that happen. Again, we've got a documentary coming out here in just a bit. It's called Countdown to Disclosure, The Secret Technology Behind the Space Force. Is coming out February 16th. And let me tell you, there is the 180-day countdown to disclosure, but they brought this up right after we launched this trailer. And let me tell you, I think you're going to find a lot of disclosure in our documentary that's going to break it wide open. Here's the trailer. Check it out.
I think it's terrifying. I mean, this seems potentially like one of the biggest stories of my lifetime. And I don't care if it's about UFOs or whatever you call it. Something that we don't understand is getting very close to our military aircraft.
The technologies related to energy generation should come out first.
This hybrid aerospace underwater craft is able to basically generate an electromagnetic field.
It is President Trump's belief that the United States must remain as dominant in space as we are on land and sea and the air. And your charge is to see to that mission with the United States Space Force.
There were 3 people on my team assassinated, and I was almost killed.
With a lot of people that would like to know what's going on.
It's a matter of national security.
But apparently, just recovered are off-world vehicles not made on this Earth.
The president will respond to the subject the way they want them to. There's a black box with all the technologies that would give us a civilization that's sustainable, peaceful, etc., and it's been around for decades.
Everybody's asking the biggest question in the world. Are we alone?
Look, it's just stalled out there.
The narrative that's being launched, which is a false narrative, is that we're not alone and that those civilizations are a threat. The problem is that the public has to be informed and involved.
It could be a restatement saying, hallelujah, I'm finally vindicated.
I'm not completely convinced they're gonna let this stay like it is.
But the people who are surrounding that level of our politicians and government are not told. Like the movie Independence Day, where Will say, let's go kick alien butt.
And there it is, guys. That's Countdown to Disclosure, the secret technology behind the Space Force. It was my pleasure bringing you this live episode right here on Third Phase of the Moon YouTube premiere. Appreciate everybody in the chat today. You guys rock, all the support. You guys are the best right here on YouTube. Appreciate that. Keep your eyes on the skies, everybody. And if you captured anything amazing, upload that video to YouTube. Copy, paste that link. Bring it to my email. I'll take a look at it. And if it's good enough, we'll share it on Third Phase of the Moon. That's what we do right here. Blake Cousins. Thanks, Brent, for the incredible artwork. Everybody, keep your eyes on the skies. We'll see you real soon.